My name is Zane Carter, and I was the first person in my family to finish college. You'd think that would mean something. But let me tell you what it really meant in my house. It meant nothing. Because my little brother was the one who got the party. The speeches. The steak dinner. The framed certificate for a C+ science fair project. And me, I got silence, and a text that said, "Don't invite your friends. This is your brother's night." That was the moment I stopped trying to be seen and started planning something they'd never be able to ignore. I still remember the way the front door felt when I pushed it open that Friday night. It was heavier than I remembered, like even the house was bracing for disappointment. Inside, balloons, streamers, a giant Dratzly AM banner stretching across the living room. The kitchen was a catering buffet. Someone had rented heaters for the backyard. Pop music played from a Bluetooth speaker out on the patio, and not a single photo of me anywhere. I didn't say a word. Didn't point out that I had just finished my final engineering exam 4 days ago. Didn't mention the national competition I'd placed top 3 in. Didn't bring up the job offer waiting in my inbox. I just helped my mom carry a tray of cupcakes to the garage fridge. But then I made the mistake of asking, "Hey, do you mind if I invite a couple friends over too? Some of them live nearby." She didn't even pause. Just said, "Zane, no. This is Liam's night. We don't want you stealing his moment." The tray in my hands suddenly felt like it was filled with bricks. I set it down, quietly. Then I smiled and said, "Cool. Then don't expect an invite to mine." She laughed like it was a joke. But I wasn't joking. That night, as people danced and drank and cheered Liam's name, I sat on the edge of the porch sipping a warm soda, watching the shadows move across the lawn like they didn't recognize me. Like I was a guest in the house where I used to sleep on the floor just to be close to them. I didn't go back home after that weekend. Finals ended. Graduation announcements rolled out, and my phone stayed quiet. "No, we're proud of you. No, can't wait to see you walk." Not even a "good luck." I didn't wait for them to notice. Instead, I stayed in the city with my roommate Connor. Picked up extra shifts at the startup where I'd been interning, and started planning something they'd never forget. It began with one phone call. "Vanessa, I need you." My cousin Vanessa wasn't just family, she was fire, event planner, LA-based. The kind of person who could turn a back alley into a Vogue shoot. She answered like she'd been waiting for this moment. "Zane, tell me you're finally letting me throw you a party." "Not just any party," I said. "I want the world to see it." Within 3 days, we had a rooftop booked in downtown Chicago. Glass railings, view of the lake, tasting menus from 3 local chefs, and a banner that read, "Congratulations, Zane Carter class of 2023. Elegant, understated, unmistakable. No one from my family was invited. Not my mother, not my father, not Liam. But I knew they'd hear about it. I made sure of it. Vanessa handled invites, press contacts, even a couple lifestyle bloggers. The headline practically wrote itself. First, Gen college grad throws rooftop bash after family snub. And yeah, it was true. I'd built and sold a small app during junior year. That check funded the party. I wasn't flexing. I was finally showing up for the version of me they never celebrated. The one who never had a birthday cake. The one who paid his own tuition. The one who learned to cheer for himself. And the night of the party. It was magic, sunset bleeding into city lights. Old friends showing up in suits and satin. My mentor gave a toast that made my throat close up. I stood there, cocktail in hand, as a jazz solo curled through the air like smoke, thinking, so this is what it feels like to be the moment. The night after the party, I couldn't sleep. Not because of regret, not even because of adrenaline, but because I finally felt something I hadn't in years seen. Not tolerated, not compared, just seen. I lay on the couch in Vanessa's suite, half listening to the buzz of city life below, when Connor walked in holding 2 coffees. "You're trending," he said. I blinked. "What?" He turned the screen toward me. There it was, A live stream replay from one of the bloggers. Grad snubbed by family throws epic rooftop bash. Tens of thousands of views. Hundreds of comments. People were talking. Not just about the party, but about the silence that came before it. The caption was simple. He did it without them. And they found out on the news. I didn't even need to check my phone. I could feel it vibrating from across the room like a warning siren. Missed calls. First mom, then dad, then Liam, then a number I didn't recognize. I let them all go to voicemail. Then came the text Tyler. Bro, what the hell? You couldn't just talk to us. You've embarrassed this family. Unknown number. Your mom collapsed crying. Please call. But I didn't. Not that night. Instead, I let the video run one more time. Watched myself laugh under city lights. Listened to Vanessa's toast again. Zane didn't wait to be celebrated. He built something. He became something. And tonight, we see him. For the first time in my life, I believed it. 3 days later, I got an email from my dad. No call, no apology. An email. The subject line read like a corporate memo. Let's move forward. I opened it. Zane, we've all made some mistakes. Your mother is still very upset, but it's time to move past this. Let's have a quiet dinner. Just the family. We can talk about your new job, maybe even plan a small celebration at home. Just us. No need to make a big deal, Dad. No need to make a big deal. Of course, they didn't want reconciliation. They wanted control of the narrative again. A quiet dinner they could casually mention later. Oh yes, we celebrated Zane's graduation. He just wanted to keep it private. I didn't respond. Instead, I forwarded the email to Vanessa with one sentence. Add this to the video. A week later, I got a call from the one person I couldn't ignore, my grandmother. She had never forgotten my birthday, never misspelled my name. She was the only one who'd ever asked about my finals. I answered. Zane, she said, voice trembling but steady. I saw the video. It was beautiful, sweetheart. I swallowed hard. Thank you, Grandma. She hesitated. But why didn't you invite the family? Your mother said they helped organize it. That Vanessa just handled the decorations. I clenched the phone. Grandma, I said slowly. Did you ever hear them mention my name in the weeks before graduation? Did they talk about the app I built? Or the interviews I had lined up with tech firms? Silence. No, I continued. Because they didn't care. They told me straight to my face, don't steal Liam's moment. And when I told them not to expect an invitation, they laughed. I heard her sigh. A long, tired, breaking kind of sigh. I'm so sorry, Zane. I closed my eyes. It wasn't her fault. But at least, someone was finally willing to listen. Just when I thought the silence might settle, I got a message from someone I hadn't heard from in years. Miss Riley, my old high school guidance counselor. Hey Zane. Just saw a video of your graduation party making the rounds online. I couldn't be prouder. Funny story. Your mom stopped by the school last week. She asked if we could share the video on the school's alumni page. Said it was a family collaboration. Family collaboration. That was the moment I felt it click. They weren't just lying to themselves anymore. They were rewriting history for everyone else. Trying to curate my story the same way they once controlled my childhood. Like I was a museum exhibit they suddenly wanted credit for. Not because they believed in me, but because the world did. I called Vanessa. Do you still have the video? She laughed gently. Zane, I have 3 angles. Good. Can you cut a highlight reel? Just a short one. Clear visuals of who was there. Who wasn't. What really happened. Her voice shifted. Serious now. You want to post it? Not yet, I said. But get it ready. The next day, I got a new email from Dad. Not a text, not a phone call. An email like we were business partners. Subject line, let's move forward. It was cold, polite, calculated. Zane, your mother is still hurting. I don't claim to understand everything, but we'd like to move forward. Have a small dinner, just us. Quiet. We can talk about your job. Maybe a family toast, no cameras, no noise. Just a tidy little photo they could show neighbors. Look! Of course we celebrated. He just wanted it private. I didn't reply. I forwarded the email to Vanessa again. Add this too. Then came the call I dreaded most. Grandma. I almost didn't pick up. But I did. Zane, she said softly. I watched your video again. And then I saw something else, a Facebook post your dad made. Said the rooftop party was always the plan. That you'd asked to keep it intimate. I clenched my jaw. Grandma, did anyone mention my name in the weeks before graduation? Did anyone say a word about my app or my job offers? Silence. They didn't care? I said. Not until the rest of the world did. And now they're spinning it like they were part of it. She didn't respond for a while. When she finally spoke, her voice broke. I didn't know. I should have seen it sooner. I blinked away tears. It's not your fault. But inside, I knew this wasn't about hurt feelings anymore. It was about truth. About who gets to tell your story. And I wasn't going to let them write me out of my own life ever again. 2 weeks after that final call from Grandma, I gave Vanessa the green light. Post it, I said. Tag me, and make the caption clear. She didn't ask twice. That night, the reel went live. It opened on a wide shot of the rooftop. String lights glowing above rows of guests, a skyline glittering in the background, my name shining in gold behind the jazz band. Then came the clips, Vanessa raising her glass, to Zane, who built this himself. My professor choking up during his toast. A quick shot of the digital invite RSVP required. No family listed. And finally, as the music slowed, a still frame of the voicemail transcript. Zane, I didn't know a lot of things. Apparently, I'm sorry. The screen faded to black. Caption. This was for everyone who was never invited, because some people couldn't handle you having your own moment. By morning, the video had over 100,000 views. By noon, it was trending. People reposted it with captions like, "This is how you bet on yourself. Give this man a documentary. Not everyone gets the family they deserve." But beneath the celebration, the backlash rolled in. Tyler messaged first. Really, you couldn't just let it go. You made us look bad on purpose. Dad emailed again. You've humiliated this family. Your mother hasn't stopped crying. Was that your goal? And Mom? One text. Please take it down. I know we made mistakes, but this isn't fair. Fair. I stared at the message for hours, wondering why I still wanted to believe she meant it. But the truth was, they weren't sorry for what they did. They were sorry that people saw it. Then came the legal threat, an email from Dad's lawyer. Cease and desist. Take down the video or face defamation action. I didn't blink. I replied with one line. Everything in that video is documented truth. Try me. They never replied again. But what came next was worse than their rage. It was their silence. The family group chat died. No more birthday texts. No more invites. Just nothing. A vacuum. And yet, for the first time in my life, I felt free. Not because I burned bridges, but because I finally stopped begging to cross ones they never planned to build for me in the first place. A month later, a thick white envelope landed in my mailbox. Embossed. Formal, my name written in handwriting I recognized too well. Tyler. Inside, a wedding invitation. Gold-trimmed custom seal. And beneath the printed details, a handwritten note. Let's bury the hatchet. No cameras. Just family. I stared at it for a long time. Thought about every time I was told to be smaller so he could shine. Every birthday ignored. Every win downplayed. Every time I was asked not to steal the moment. And now, suddenly, it was our moment. I didn't RSVP I didn't RSVP no. Instead, I mailed the card back, tucked inside a framed photo from my rooftop party. Me, standing tall, banner behind me, jazz band blurred in the lights, and across the bottom. I signed it, to the brother who once said, "Don't steal my moment. Don't worry, I made my own." I never heard from him again. But they weren't done spinning the story. A week later, Ms. Riley, my old high school counselor, called. "Zane, did you really ask your family not to come to the party?" Because your mom stopped by the school. She said it was a family collaboration. I laughed, bitter in my throat. No. They didn't even know it was happening. That was the final straw. They weren't just lying to relatives anymore. They were trying to rewrite history, to tell the world they were always part of the story they tried to silence. But I had receipts, the email from Dad, the voicemail from Mom, the text from Tyler, the RSVP list, the invitation, the absence. So I called Vanessa again. You still have the raw footage. Every angle, she said. You want another edit? Yeah. But this time, make it clear. This wasn't their story to tell. She paused. You're done letting them write your ending. No, I said. I'm just beginning mine. 4 months later, my phone lit up with a number I hadn't seen in years. Grandma's lawyer. Her voice was already fading by October, but her mind was sharp till the end. I still remember the last thing she ever said to me. Don't let anyone write your story for you again. Now, I was sitting in a quiet office, surrounded by distant relatives in stiff chairs as the reading of her will began. Furniture, jewelry, keepsakes, split among cousins. Then came a pause. To Zayn Malik, heads turned. The only one in this family who learned to stand alone. I leave the contents of my safe deposit box and the full sum of my private savings account. I blinked, but it was real. $375,000. She'd been quietly saving for decades. No one knew, not even Mom, and she left it to me. No conditions, no guilt, just belief. I walked out of that office into the cold sunlight, clutching the papers, heart full. And that same afternoon, I wrote a check, not to myself, but to create something lasting. The Thomas Grant, a scholarship in her name, for first-gen students like me, for the invisible kids, the ones who walk alone but still keep walking. That night, I stood on the balcony of my condo, a gift I gave myself with my own money, earned without fanfare. No champagne, no cameras, just the city lights below and peace above. The months that followed were quieter than I expected, not peaceful quiet. Empty quiet, no birthday calls. No "we miss you" texts, no more angry emails, just nothing. The family group chat went silent. Photos of Liam's wedding surfaced online, a happy little backyard event with twinkle lights and a dozen smiling faces. I wasn't in a single one. Not that I was invited, but it didn't sting the way it once would have. I had made my peace with being written out. Because this time, I was the one holding the pen. I built something from the ashes. I mentored students, gave guest lectures at my alma mater, helped fund passion projects for underrepresented engineers. And every time someone called me, "Sir," or asked how I got where I am, I smiled. I wasn't chosen. I chose myself. One day in April, a letter arrived. Not an email. Not a DM, a real, hand-written letter. The handwriting stopped me cold. Mom, it wasn't long. Zayn, I saw your name in a magazine last week. Something about innovation. Or leadership. I didn't understand it all, but I clipped it out. I'm proud of you. I'm sorry I didn't say it when it mattered. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know. You were never invisible to me. I just didn't know how to see you. I read it twice. 3 times, and then tucked it into a drawer with the rest of the scraps they left behind. Apologies too late, love too conditional, recognition only when the world demanded it. But this story isn't about revenge. It's about remembering your worth. Later, about how your voice still matters even when your family refuses to hear it. It's about finding peace, not when they say sorry, but when you finally stop waiting for them to. Because silence, it doesn't mean you lost. Sometimes, it means you finally won. Some stories don't end with closure. They end with clarity. Zayn didn't burn bridges. His family built those walls first. All he did was stop knocking. This story isn't just about one graduation party. It's about the quiet children, the ones who never asked for much, who waited years to be seen, only to realize that some people only look when it's convenient. And when Zayn finally celebrated himself, they weren't upset because they were excluded. They were upset because the spotlight wasn't theirs to control anymore. So here's the question. Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Have you ever watched others be celebrated for less, while you worked twice as hard for half the recognition? Drop your story below. You're not alone. Maybe it's time we all stop waiting for permission to be proud of ourselves. Sometimes the only approval you need is your own. Like, comment, and subscribe if this story made you feel seen. We post real, raw stories every week about betrayal, growth, and reclaiming your voice. Because here on Telling Story with Me, you are never the background character. You're the main story. See you in the next one.